How's everybody doing? Tinkering with Harleys. Well, it's been a while since I got a video out. Been real crazy around here. We've been busy in here and we've had some family things that we've had going on, so I have not had a chance to do any videos. But today we have some time, so I thought we would do a video. So first I want to thank all of you who have subscribed. It's great. I would like watching the numbers grow, and it shows me that people are watching. If you're watching these videos and you're enjoying them, by all means, please subscribe. Keep the comments coming, keep the questions coming. I mean, I get some great questions from you guys, and I'm happy to answer them. And I acknowledge every question that I get and every comment that I get. And I had one comment that I figured I'd call everybody's attention to. And this is something I did not know. I had a viewer write into me and tell me that S&S is now making final drive belts. I don't know how long they've been doing it. But S&S always makes stuff that's bulletproof. So if you're replacing a final drive belt, there is an alternative now to Harley's drive belt. I know there's other drive belts out there which I've seen, and I'm not impressed. They don't last. But if S&S is making it, it's a good drive belt. So it's an alternative to a stock Harley drive belt. Today we're going to be talking about transmissions. And particularly if your transmission is jumping out of gear. So I with the older bikes, which is basically what I deal with, they're high mileage. They've got a lot of miles on them, and sometimes the transmissions wear out a little bit and they'll start to jump out of gear. Today we're going to cover some of the causes, and these are things that you can do yourself without taking it to a shop and spending a bunch of money. And you can also do it while it's on the bike. You don't have to yank the transmission out of the bike to do it. Now the one we're going to be working on is a demo trans. It's on the bench, and that just makes it easier for me to do the video. But you can do all this stuff on the bike. So the first thing you want to check if you've got a bike that's jumping out of gear, you want to check your linkage. You want to make sure the linkage is adjusted correctly. Most times when it's not, it can jump out of gear, but most times when it's not, it won't go in gear. You also want to check your shifter itself. If you just have a toe shifter or a heel toe shifter, you want to make sure that's moving freely. So before you go tearing into the transmission, you want to check the simple things first before you start to open your transmission up. Now, if you're going to do this on a transmission, like I said, you can do this on a bike. Once you've checked the simple things, you can move on to the transmission itself. But if you're doing it in the bike, if you've got a horseshoe oil tank, that has to come off in order to get to the top of the transmission. So you need to drain the oil out of your trans, you need to drain the oil out of your tank, and you need to remove the tank. If you've got an FX model and you've got the low tank, you don't have to worry about it. You also have to take the starter motor out. So you got to take the outer primary off. But this is all things you can do yourself without taking it to a shop and spending a bunch of money. And if you do have an older bike, this is more applicable to you guys. So, all that said, we'll get to the transmission. Once you've taken and you've eliminated the simple things like your shifter's free and it's not binding up, your linkage is adjusted correctly, you get to the transmission. Now, everything is bolted on this because this is a demo. And this is a 5-speed. I'm talking about 5 speeds. So you remove the top of your transmission. Okay, and now you've got your shift drum, your pawl shifter. And what you want to do when you get to this stage, you want to jack the bike up. You want to get the rear wheel off. You want to get the rear wheel off the ground so you can spin the rear wheel and shift it. Now, unfortunately, I've got everything for these old transmissions except a shift arm. So I can't shift it, but what you want to do is you want to rotate the tire and you want to run through the gears to make sure that everything is working correctly here. You don't see anything out of whack or going sideways or broken. And go up and down through the gears, but the only way you can do it is by turning that back wheel, by getting the main shaft to move. So after you've done that, you don't find any problem, you pull your shift drum off. First you take the spring off your pawl shifter and pull that pawl shifter back out of the way and just lift your drum up. Now remember, all these bolts are already out. And then you just want to examine your shift drum. Look for any place where it's rounded out in these channels, any nicks, anything that might obstruct it. Make sure it's rotating correctly, which this one is. And you check the pins, make sure all the pins are there. And once you're satisfied that all that stuff is okay, you set that aside and you move on further. Now you get down to the shift forks. That's these three things right here. And your gear assembly. Now you can rotate the trans, and with the shift forks in there, you can get limited visibility. You want to look and see if there's any broken teeth, but we're going to examine that one further. If you don't see anything that jumps right out at you, you know, like when you go and shift it like this, you don't see any chips in the teeth or anything like that, then you want to go ahead and you want to pull the shift forks out. Okay, that's neutral. Now to pull the shift forks out is very simple. This rod holds them in. And you have to take your clutch actuator cover off also to do this. You just slide this out, you get it started. It's slippery. Sometimes it's hard to get a hold of, because it's covered with oil. There we go. And you take that out. That's the rod that holds the shift forks. And what you want to do with this, you want to examine this to make sure it's not bent. And the easiest way to do this is to put it on a flat surface and roll it to see if it has any high spots, like that. You know, that it's rolling even. This one is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. So next we get to the shift forks. And you pull your shift forks out. Now this one here has a lot of wear on it, as you can see. This one also has a lot of wear on it. And this one's not too bad. So now you've got the shift forks out. Now you can really get a good look down inside that, inside the transmission to get a better look. You want to rotate that trans, and you want to look at the gears. What you're looking for is you want to look in here at the edge of your teeth. And you're looking for any missing teeth, any cracks, anything that's rounded off, anything that doesn't look normal. And all these gears look pretty good. The other thing you want to look at is These are your dogs. And what the shift fork does is it slides this gear into there. And that puts it into gear. Now that's first gear right there. And you can see where everything is matched up or it's locked in. See, and it slides back and forth. And this is on the main shaft. Trying to hold the camera and do this kind of pain in the ass. You want to look at these dogs, although you really can't get a good look at them while it's in the trans, to make sure there's no wear on that. But they slide back and forth like this, and that's what engages it. And once you engage it fully, then it locks everything in. So next we're going to move over to the shift forks. And you can see the wear right in there, or at least I hope you can see it. And you turn it over and you can see it here also. Now, this is another shift fork. This one is also used. So as you can see, there is virtually no wear on this one. There is a little bit of wear on this side, but it's not significant. And if you hold the two up, if you hold the two up side by side, you can see the difference. So this shift fork, this is pretty much worn out. Now this is normal wear for a high mileage transmission. And these things wear out after a while, like any other machine, metal on metal, it wears out. And if you're wondering, anytime you ever drain your oil out of your trans, the metal shavings that you're getting on the magnet, a lot of them are coming from this. So, and I'll show you the difference with the difference. Now, both of these shift forks I'm showing you, they are both used. This one doesn't have as many miles on it. So we're going to put our calipers on it, and we're going to measure it. Now, as you can see, this one has just about a little over 9 thousandths. So there's a lot of beef left on this one yet. Now we go to the one that's really worn. And it's down to 8 thousandths. So the difference this makes is the dogs I was telling you about. Let me get the camera over here so you can see it. Worn shift fork, it's not moving the dog far enough in. It's sitting out. It's not fully engaging. And when it doesn't fully engage, you know, if it sits out here like about that, which is what happens when they wear out, there's not enough material on the fork to move it over. So what happens if it's not fully engaged like that, and it's sitting back here just like that, when you gas on it or throttle up, that'll just pop right out of there. And that's what causes this. Now, the cure for this, now generally the fix for this is you get 3 new shift forks for it. And that'll take care of your problem as long as there's no damage to the teeth or the dogs. Now, the only way you can really check the dogs is to take the transmission apart. But if you're not seeing any excessive wear on your gears or anything like that, just get 3 new shift forks, throw them in there, and it should shift fine. So if you're having this problem where it's jumping out of gear, this is one of the possible causes. And it's the most common cause that I've seen. It's just wear, especially if you got a lot of miles on your bike. So I hope this helps somebody out. This is a do-it-yourself thing. I mean, and you can see the difference in the shift forks. You know, you can see the wear on both sides on that. And then you look at this one, which is also used. And side by side, yeah, we're not getting a good side by side. There it is. You can see the wear on that one, no wear on this one, or very little wear on it. So you get 3 new shift forks and it should be good to go. And again, it's the most common cause that I've seen. And this is something you can do yourself. If you take it to a shop, this will cost you a lot of money. Shift forks, you know, you can go with the stock Harley shift forks. They're fine. They work great. I mean, they last a long time. If you want to go with an aftermarket, there's some extremely good aftermarket shift forks that are hardened steel. They don't wear out. But this is all common wear, and this is on higher mileage bikes. And this is a 5-speed I'm working on. So the 6 speeds, they have a problem in themselves with third gear. The design on them leaves a little bit to be desired. And I don't have a 6-speed that I can show you. But again, I just figured I'd put this together because I know with guys, and a lot of you, or in fact, most of you that watch these videos, you have older bikes. So I know issues, and from comments I've gotten, that some of you are having this problem. That's how you check it, and that's how you fix it. So all of you have subscribed. Thank you once again for subscribing. If you're watching these videos and enjoying them, by all means, subscribe. And keep the comments coming. Keep the questions coming. I answer every one of them. And until the next time, everybody be safe out there.